Well, welcome everybody. I am excited to have Mary back here today with us. She is going to be sharing her Spotlight Coach presentation on Mothers Are People Too. Mary is a health and life coach who focuses on supporting moms through any stage of motherhood. She offers a holistic approach by looking at various aspects of a mother's life, self, mindset, food, movement, and provides unbiased information and guidance based on your wants and needs. Mary is also an athlete, an avid outdoorsman, IT nerd, wife, and mom to a 5-year-old and another on the way. That's so exciting. If you haven't yet seen Mary's Your Story Matters conversation, she shares how she had to step into a role of supporting her husband after he had an accident that he endured at work, all while being a new mom and still in the honeymoon phase of marriage. You can check out her Your Story Matters conversation inside that area within the Beautiful You community. But we're not going to spend too much time on that particular story. We're just going to dive in and let Mary share with us about her expertise and her gifts and talents when it comes to being a mom, and all the things. Like, motherhood is like there's such a wide spectrum to motherhood, and so often we lose ourselves as moms when we step into this role of constant servanthood, because our kids just need us 24/7, whether they're little babies, whether they're toddlers, middle school, high school. I think it's almost like a stage of life where parents are just like, I don't know how to connect. And then always, I fall into this space of being a helicopter mom. Like, I'm constantly hovering. What are you doing? What's on your phone? What are you looking at? Like, I'm like that mom. And I know that my daughter's now 25, and she did not like the helicopter parenting concept at all. Like, she felt it very abusive. But I think now as she's coming into adulthood, she's like, I understand. I understand now, because my son is 8 years younger. He's almost 17, and we are now helicopter parenting him. And my daughter's like, yes, you need to keep your eyes on that boy. So she understands a lot more now that she's through that phase, and we don't have to helicopter her anymore. But mothering has got its rewards, and it's got its challenges, and it's everything in between. So I'll stop rambling, and I will give you the floor, Mary, so you can share your expertise in this area and how you support moms.
Great, thank you. No worries, I ramble on as well.
I love this kindred spirit.
So let me go ahead and share my screen here. So, as you said, I am with Moms Being Well. So I focus on supporting moms. I am a life coach, a personal trainer, but my focus again is on supporting those moms. And as she said, I'm an athlete, avid outdoorsman, IT nerd. And if you'll notice, I kind of listed wife and mom last. That's not because they're not important, but it's more so to kind of show you again, with our moms are people. We have our needs, we have our likes and things like that. So those are important to me as well. So it's not that they're more important than being mom or more liked than being a mom, but those just come higher up in the show. So when we first think, what is a mom? Things like caregiver, cook, cleaner, taxi driver, emotional support. We're always the ones there. If they skin a knee or scrape a knee, we're there for hugs and snuggles and finding socks, shirts, toys, suckies, anything like that. That's, well, where is it? I don't know. Go ask mom.
Where's my phone charger?
Right? Moms seem to know where everything is.
Yes.
So it's always go ask mom. And then, like, grocery shopping, project help, it's always, hey mom, that project's due tomorrow. Can you help me with that?
Yeah.
So it seems like moms are always kind of the lifesavers and the help and things like that, always getting to be there in the last minutes, or when you need someone, you go to mom for everything. So that's kind of more of what is mom. But we also forget that moms are people too. So they have things like emotions and wants. They have to balance these with the caregiver, the emotional support. They have to balance their emotions with handling the emotions of their children, their husbands. If they work, they have emotions there. They have jobs, or like they have responsibilities at work. They have responsibilities at home. Even stay-at-home moms, you still have responsibilities at home that you have to deal with. You have to clean and all of that stuff. And then when your husband comes home from work, all you want to do is rest and relax. But so does he. so he said, well, I just came home from work. And you're like, well, I was working all day. It's just my work is at home. Yeah. So no matter what kind of mom you are, whether you go to work part-time or you're a stay-at-home mom, or you work from home or you work full-time, there are things that you have to be juggling and balancing constantly. And it can get overwhelming really quickly if you don't kind of have the tools that you need and the support that you need to make it through all of that. So having your own interests separate from your kids' baseball games and taking them to art class and whatever else that they're doing, and scheduling all the doctor's appointments and keeping everybody on schedule of who needs to be where. And if dad is taking one kid and mom is taking the other kid, and then you're going to switch and take this one to that activity, and all of that stuff is on a mom's mind all the time. But they often put themselves to the back. So they're dealing with the kids and everything first, and they forget about themselves. So they start to, like you mentioned before, they start to lose themselves. So I did a poll. I'm in a bunch of different mom communities. So if you guys are on any of those, you might see me popping in and out of those there. But I did a poll, and 78% of the women said that they are struggling with who they are outside of motherhood. So, right. And I was actually surprised that it was that high. I mean, I knew, oh yeah, there's some that aren't sure what's going on, but I didn't realize it would be 78%. That's quite a high number. So these moms they're just focused on their kids and their families. They're not focused on them. I asked, when was the last time like you took care or did something for yourself? And it was often over months ago that they did. So this is kind of a real problem that all moms go through. And yes, it's a little comforting to know that you're not alone in this. That's but right. It's also something needs to happen so that this many moms are getting support and feeling that they're worth what they're going through. Because a lot of the moms are starting to feel like, oh, it's just everything's about them, and I don't have anything. So what about me? And then that leads to other problems and relationships and other things like that. So it's important to me to kind of give these moms some support and some direction so that they don't feel lost. Because statements that I've heard from moms are that they feel like, again, you mentioned, they're losing themselves. They've missed who they were before they were kids. Now, some of that is, well, I used to be able to go out and party and do all of that stuff. Well, yeah, for a while after kids, you're not going to be able to do that.
You don't want to either.
Right.
Recovery's not the same.
Right. But also on the other side of that is like my body is not the same as it was before I had kids. I miss my old body. Well, there's kind of more to that than just you missing your old body. So kind of helping them to see that and work through whatever they're feeling. I mean, there's feelings that range depending on the person. They don't recognize who they see in the mirror. That's another one of either confidence is gone or they're not happy with themselves. Things, just all sorts of things like that, that it just kind of wears you down after a while. Sure. And then another one that I hear a lot is that they feel so alone, that there's nobody there. They're stuck with their kids all day. They have the baby to watch or the kids to take to school. and they just feel like they're so alone when really they're not. Any other mom has those feelings too. They just don't like to admit it. A lot of the times is they always say, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. No, I don't want to go out. No, it's okay. But on the inside they're, well, I kind of wish I could, but something's holding me back from being able to do that or feeling confident or comfortable enough to do that. So kind of helping them to work through that as well. And the other one is feeling defeated, especially first-time moms definitely feel defeated, or moms that do have other kids that are pregnant again, like me, or I have newborns at home. It's a lot of work to be a mom of a newborn or a first-time mom, and you can feel defeated if baby is crying all the time and you can't figure out why, or if your toddler is starting to yell back at you or slam doors or things like that. And if you're already struggling, it makes those times even harder to kind of work through and deal with, because if you're already worn down from giving so much to everybody else, then you don't really have any energy or anything to give back to them to help support them. So that's what I like to do, is kind of point out those things and let moms know that the quote unquote old you, it's not lost, it's still there. You're just growing, you're expanding, you're adding to your resume. You always see the letters that have like MD for doctor. They should put mom at the end of signature lines.
Super mom.
Right? Because those are credentials in themselves, is being able to work through all of this and handle it. I know a lot of employers now are even taking being a stay-at-home mom as work history. So they're starting to kind of understand, yes, you may have been at home, not in the workforce, but you were doing something. So I kind of like to see that they are kind of starting to acknowledge that being a stay-at-home mom doesn't mean you weren't doing anything, you're just sitting at home, but you are doing stuff still, and that they count that now as part of your work history as being a stay-at-home mom.
I love that there is that shift, because there used to be a season for stay-at-home moms that they had this like picture painted in their head that we just sat on the couch and watched soap operas and chocolates and eat chips all day long, and the house would just be turned upside down and we just shake our eyes at it. But that's not the case. Like, you're constantly on the go, putting out fires, dealing with conflict resolutions. If you have more than one child in the house, those are all skills that some people in the workplace that haven't experienced the learning that comes with motherhood, that they just may not be able to resolve conflicts easily. But we learn that as moms, right?
Right. And a lot of the stuff we're learning on the fly. I mean, there's no manual for motherhood. It's all right, this situation is here in front of me. Let's figure out how to deal with it.
And every kid is so different.
Exactly. And then, but if you're also so worn down from dealing with all of that, and you're not taking care of yourself as the person that you are, not just as mom, then you don't have the energy to deal with that. And a lot of the problems too is a lot of moms say, well, I don't have the energy to do what I want to do anyways, or I don't have the support to do what I want to do anyways. So that's what I'm hoping to kind of help to fix, and to show them that if they take a little bit of time for themselves, it will actually make them feel more energized, so that they have the capacity and the clear thoughts and things like that they can do to deal with all of these other problems and things that come up with. They'll actually be surprised at how a little self-care can actually change the dynamic of a family and kind of make things all run more smoothly. But kind of going back to the old you, you're not lost, you're still there. You just have to take some time and refine yourself, I guess, is kind of what it is, or write your next chapter. Because I know with me, like I've said and we've mentioned, I'm an athlete. So playing soccer, hiking, going outside, running, jumping, lifting weights, doing all of this stuff. Well, yes, I had to kind of slow that down, pause some of it, the contact sports and stuff when I got pregnant, but that's still a part of me. It's just, I have to pause for a second right now. I have to find other ways to be me. So other things that I enjoy doing, that I've found that I've enjoyed doing just by messing around and trying and see, hey, let's give it a try. So now things like crafting with my son, baking, I can still do exercises. It's just changed which exercises I do and things like that. So I'm still me. I'm still getting to take my time to do what I like to do. It's just slowed down a little bit for the moment. And then once baby comes, we adjust. You find a new rhythm. You find ways to fit in what you like to do and what makes you happy. And then you continue on. So it's just kind of like, I kind of equate it to like when we're kids, we like the sugary cereals and the watching cartoons on Sunday morning. But as you grow up, you still continue that. You still have a bowl of Captain Crunch or whatnot every now and then, and you still sit and watch the shows that you like, but the shows have changed. You don't watch cartoons necessarily anymore. Now you watch home makeovers or whatever
organizational shows, yeah, for
right.
sure.
So that part of you is still there. You still like to sit and watch your TV shows and have your snacks, but the shows have changed and the snacks have changed. Your tastes have changed. So you're still that person. You're just evolving into the person you're supposed to be and the person that you're meant to be. And all of the past experiences are just helping to build you up to that and show you your path and help guide you in what you're supposed to do. Because I mean, without, like you had mentioned before, without the stuff that happened when I first got pregnant with my first son, I don't know that I would be where I am right now, doing what I'm doing and having all of the knowledge and everything that I do have in the experience. It wouldn't have happened had that happened. So even though it was hard to go through and it was a change, and most of us don't like change, even though it was all of that.
I didn't plan for this. This is not in my calendar.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I had a set schedule and we're not on it anymore. Even though all of that kind of throws rocks in it, looking back, you're like, oh, okay, I understand now. But in that moment, you're hating it. You're wondering how you're going to get through it and struggling and pushing through and all of that. But once you get through it, then you kind of look back and go, oh, maybe it wasn't as bad, or I can see why this happened, or I can see how this shaped kind of who I am and what I do now. So a lot of the questions that kind of come up with that is, where do we start? Like, I am so lost. I don't even know what to do. And for those of you watching, there are a couple of exercises coming up, so you can grab some paper or watch the replay and go back and do these when you have some time. But yeah, it is a big question of where do I even start? I'm so stuck that I don't know what to do. So I have kind of broken things down into 4 different pillars or categories, however you want to look at it. There's self, which is most important because you are a person. Yourself is important. Your mindset, because your mind controls a lot more than you realize, or sometimes that you want to acknowledge. Movement, because your body is important. You have to keep your body healthy. And then of course, food also goes with nutrition and more nutritious foods that you eat and how your body reacts to them. The better you feel, the more you can move, the more your thoughts are positive, the more positivity you have in yourself. They're kind of all linked together. So you can see here, I've kind of put just under self is like your confidence, your body and image, your energy, your emotions, those kinds of things. Under mindset, self-talk. I know a lot of moms have some negative negative self-talk. So they always look at themselves like, oh, I'm ugly, or I wish my stomach is, I just don't like my stomach after having my baby, and things like that. And the thoughts that of course go with those, of when you're eating your cookie, of, oh, I'm just going to be so fat because I just had a cookie, and all of that kind of things. And then having tools to kind of manage those. I think that's part of the the win, is having tools when you do come up with those, because those are going to happen. They happen to everybody. They happen to me. So I'm not the perfect thing all the time anyways, but I have some tools that I can use to get through them. And that's also another thing too, is seeing all of these Instagram moms and things like that that have the makeup done and their outfits and their kids in their 3 matching outfits, and they're on their way to the store or whatever it may be. Yeah, they have that picture. But how long did it take them to get that picture?
I feel good, but dang, I forgot to put my mascara on, and then my eyes go into they disappear. And so I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't leave my vehicle.
Right. Right. But just to show you, like, even those moms that have you think they have everything together, they do in that moment, but there's almost guaranteed
they're not Instagramming the other stuff.
Right. Sometimes they lost it.
Yes.
They did not
find
have it all
themselves
together.
in the pantry drinking a bottle of wine.
Right. Hiding in the bathroom just because you need a couple of minutes to yourself. That's a common one.
Yes. So
but having those tools to, when those situations come up, to being able to work through them and turning them into a positive situation, so that they don't keep dragging you down farther and farther. That's an important thing to have. And then movement, the amount that you do, how you enjoy it, are you consistent with it? Those are all important to movement. And then food, of course, your nutrition, your habits, and then your relationship with food. Not many people look at your relationship with your food, because it can either be you eat because it's there, you eat because you're bored, you hate vegetables. Having those kind of emotions tied to food can trigger things, or they can divert you from things. So kind of looking at all of those are things that can help you to put some focus back on you, make those positive changes, and get some of your energy back. And you'll be surprised at how much you can put up with when you're in a positive state of mind, and things like that, versus
when you say relationship with food, I'm like, oh, if that cheesecake wants to talk back, I'll give it a little what for.
Right. Exactly. So just kind of looking here, one of the exercises for self, and this is something that you can do anytime you want. It's also interesting if you do it different times, whether it's different times of the day, or depending on how you feel too, because you'll notice that there are differences. So if you're not really in a good mood or anything like that, the thoughts that you have are going to be a lot different than if something good just happened in your life, or you're in a positive state. But so the exercise is, look at yourself in the mirror, and what are the first 3 things that come to mind? It's a simple exercise. I'm not going to, force things on you, but it's just whatever comes to mind. Try to see, you can write them down, or you can just notice and see if they're positive things or if they're negative things. Because a lot of women will automatically go to, oh, I'm fat, I'm ugly, those kinds of things. But you can also go to, oh, in my situation, I have a big baby bump. It's not the stomach that I'm used to, but it's home for my baby. It's look at my body, look at how it's supporting my baby and taking care of my baby. Look at the legs that I have that helped me to get out of bed and climb all the stairs to my son's hockey match, things like that. So you'll be surprised at how your thoughts and what you what you're drawn to first change based on your mindset. So like I'm saying, like I showed you here, is how you look at yourself and the thoughts that you have and the emotions that come up to mind can give you some insight on how to kind of move forward with what you need to work on, or gives you some insight into, oh, we had a rough morning getting the kids to school. Now when I look in the mirror, I see all this negative stuff, versus, oh, I just got a great phone call from a friend and we talked for an hour and it was so great to catch up with them. And then you look in the mirror after that and you're like, oh, look, I've got like pretty eyes. I love the way my hair looks and things like that. You'll notice that there's a big kind of shift in those. So kind of getting a handle on either patterns that come up with what you're seeing and what you're thinking, or noticing the differences can kind of give you some insight into where your mind is on your confidence and your self-talk and things like that.
So good.
So another one that with self is to write 3 things that you like genuinely enjoy doing. So things that will make you laugh, things that will make you smile, things that will just all of a sudden change your energy from blah and down to positive. It can be anything. I had one mom, one of her things was she liked watching videos of people falling down stairs. Okay. If it makes you smile and laugh, put it on the list.
Exactly.
So this way you have a list, and if it's things simple like that, then when you're in a low place or you're starting to feel down on yourself, pull up some videos of people falling downstairs. Do something that will make you smile, make you laugh, that can have an instant effect on your mood. But if it's more things like, I wish I could garden more, or I wish I could have time to go take a class to learn how to do something, things like that, that are a little bit more planning and stuff involved, then what's keeping you from doing them? Write that down. And 2, when we actually write things down, it helps our brain to kind of process them a little bit better. I know you have a lot of journal prompts and things like that you put in the group, and those are great, because the more that you write things down, it kind of helps process it, and it also helps kind of clear it out of your mind, so you're not constantly thinking or worrying about, well, if only I could do this and if only I could do that, well, this is stopping me, and then it gets jumbled in your mind and your mind just goes to, oh, that was a bad thought, bad experience, I'm not going to think about that anymore. Whereas when you write it out, you can kind of see a little more clearly what is stopping you from doing that. And like I said, knowing what makes you smile and what makes you happy is part of the battle. It's the half of the battle. Because if you're unsure of what to do, then you're like, well, nothing really makes me happy. There's nothing. But I'm sure if you sit and you think about, it can even be things that you liked before you were a parent. Some of those things you can adjust. Like I used to like to do crafting and arts and stuff. Well, yeah, I can still do that. I just adjusted it so I can now do it with my son. And he likes to do crafts too. So we work together and do things. Or I have him come up with a project. Like he wanted to make his grandpa a bird bath. So I said, okay, you want to make a bird bath? Let's figure out a way to make one. So just kind of doing that and having that challenge. And it's kind of a fun thing that you can do together, and bringing your kids into it, or finding ways to adjust for your specific situation that you're in now, so that you do have time and are able to do it. So just knowing what makes you happy, what makes you laugh, what you're genuinely excited and enjoy doing, and what's stopping you from doing them. You can put a plan in place to kind of move forward and see how you can get those, or some form of those at least, into your life again, so you can bring back some of that joy that you feel like you're missing.
And just exploring, because even like you said, in your story matters conversation, that you didn't realize that you enjoyed baking, and
Right.
as you challenged yourself to make a birthday cake for your little man,
Mhm.
that ignited and unlocked a door of new passions for you. So
Exactly.
sometimes we have to explore. There was a season, I haven't done it in many years because I was in a car accident and I've been scared to do it ever since. But I fell in love with kickboxing, so much so that I really truly wanted to like become an somebody that would actually teach other people how to kickbox. And I found it such a great way to relieve the stress. I could like take all my frustration and my back talk from my kids and my disconnect with my husband. I could just take it to the gym and hit the bag and it'd feel all so much better. And I used to drag friends with me that are still doing it to this day. And they are super grateful at the fact that I helped them unlock their passion in that realm, because they just absolutely love it. And it's such a great stress relief, and just aggravations, everything just kind of gets out of into the bag. I'm not saying that that's your thing, but
Right.
it's, unless you explore and really put, step out of your comfort zone of
Mhm.
your everyday, we really don't know some of the other things that are inside of us that we'll enjoy unless we, test the waters, right?
Yeah, and kickboxing. I enjoyed kickboxing too. So there's a
I
hashtag
had
in
sliced my
garage. So
hand, so I haven't been able to do like a full fist for about 10 years. And so I'm scared to
right.
just suck it up and try to punch the bag and see what happens. But I do air boxing, which it doesn't feel the same, but it's still a good
Hey,
workout.
still works. Yeah.
Yeah, but
But
I love this kicking and punching. I don't know. I couldn't
getting
fight
all
my
the
way out of a
aggression.
wet
Right.
paper bag, but I love kickboxing.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
so good.
like you said, you don't know what you like, and you're constantly expanding, and your interests are changing,
Yes.
and things like that. So just like our son, we started him in one sport, and then we're like, okay, we'll try this one, that one, and this one too. It's just like the kids too. They
Yes.
have to try different things to see what they like. And then
My
as he
husband
goes,
made that mandatory for our young man. He's not young anymore, but when he was going through trying to figure out his sports, my husband was like, hockey's always been his like foundational sport, but my husband's like, no, we got to try all these other things. So every
"Mhm,
spring and all throughout the summer, my son even did football and hockey, which there's like a bit of a
right,
crossover. So that was
right,
a challenging season for us parents, but just to kind of give them some exposure to other sports, because you really don't know, and if hockey is your true passion or your true love unless you explore the other ones. There might be something that
right,
trumps it, right? So
right."
you do have to explore. It's all part of the process,
Mhm.
being a scientist of yourself.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. And even if it might just be something that you saw on TV and you're like, oh, I wonder what that would be like. Well, let's try it and
Yeah,
see.
like the
You can
pound.
always say
Have you
no.
seen the drumstick workout, like the pound, where they use like these weighted drumsticks and they like use them to like pretend that they're drummers and they get a really
No.
crazy workout.
Sounds
It looks
interesting.
like amazingly like so much fun. And I'm like, yeah, I think I'd enjoy that. Girl, I have no rhythm. I'm like, this is so hard. I'm like, this isn't for me. But I wouldn't have known if I didn't try, because it looks like an amazing workout, looks like a lot of fun. You get to
Right.
really get into the music, and I love music, but not. I'll just sing the
Not that
drumming
one,
to
huh?
the drummers. We have to
Yeah. So
explore.
so just like exploring things that you think, well, I've heard somebody try that and they enjoyed it, maybe I'll try it for a second. You're allowed to say no, like we tell our son,
Yeah,
try everything once, and if you don't like it after that, then you don't have to do it again.
yeah,
But you just have to kind of explore and see. And like I said, a lot of the things that you used to enjoy doing before kids and before pregnancy, you can still do them to some form or another. So me, with working out, I used to do these really like high intensity, long hour and a half workouts. Now it's like 20 minutes of bar. So it's still working out, and I still get to get my workout in and feel like I've accomplished stuff, but it's not exactly like it used to be, which is perfectly fine. It
right.
doesn't have to be As you'll see coming up, it doesn't have to be hard. So kind of moving on to that of mindset is create a thought journal of what you think throughout the day. Write down any negative thoughts. Write down what you were doing when you did those and any emotions you felt. This also works for positive thoughts too. Just kind of, again, getting it out of your head and onto the paper helps you to process it. And you can also start to see patterns that come up, because our minds are programmed to do the easiest thing possible. And once they get some connections between, oh, this thought, that's bad. This one, not as bad. But once they get those connections, they go, oh, I've seen this before. That one's bad. Automatically, that one's bad. So you have to kind of reprogram to be like, no, it's actually not that bad. So let me look at the positive side of things. And as I said, put down the emotions that you felt, because the stronger the emotional tie that you have is the harder that it is to break. So if you kind of think about something that made you really angry or really sad or something like that, those are going to be harder to break, not impossible, but harder to break and kind of turn back into a positive situation. But as you write down your thoughts, you'll notice that either the same thought comes up frequently or similar thoughts come up frequently. So instead of the I don't like the way my body looks, or oh, why am I eating this other cookie, and things like that, those will be repeating. And you can notice that, oh, right before this I had a fight with my son, or right before this I had an argument with my husband, and things like that. So you can kind of notice that there's triggers too to what your thoughts are. And if you notice, if you can start to write those out and then just review them some other time, don't review them at that moment, but write them down and review them a couple of days later.
You're the problem to all of my problems. Right? We don't want to go there.
Right? Like, sorry, honey, you're on this list like 5 times. You got to go. So, but reviewing them a day or two later, when you're in a good mood. Put on some music, put on some candles, take a bath. That kind of goes to the self-care as well. But when you look at them, you'll start to notice that there might be some triggers that show up that we need to address or work through, or find ways to work around them when they do happen. Or you'll notice a thought that keeps reoccurring, or you'll notice that specific things kind of tend to crop up at specific times throughout the day. So that could be, again, that's kind of like a trigger, but it could be nutrition related. It could be sleep related. There's all sorts of things. It's like a big puzzle that you have to kind of put together and figure out, but it's kind of where I come in, where I get to help you kind of go through those and work through what those triggers are. If we can find a way around triggers, things like that. So like for me,
so it's so good to have an outsider looking into some of our chaos,
right?
Because we all have chaos. You are not alone. We all have those thoughts that can paralyze us, but to have an outsider kind of take a look at the inventory that you have taken mention of by doing these exercises, it really helps bring things to perspective and be like, oh no, we can turn this around. Just do it's baby steps, right? We just do small incremental shifts and then we build on them, just like habit stacking. It's just small shifts, small decisions that we can make on a day-to-day basis, or even sometimes hour by hour, minute by minute, depending on the scenario. But it all builds on each other. And it's so crucial to have somebody that is in your corner that can call you out and start showing you the bigger picture, instead of just being stuck in that little tiny box that we sometimes place ourselves in. Right.
And to go again with the point of your brain like automatically making connections for you, like chaos and stress can be addictive. You'll start to make subconscious
we all know people
decisions.
like that. We're like, we always like, oh, they're just like a magnet for drama. Like they're just right.
Well, your mind will start making subconscious decisions for you, so that it'll go back to its comfort zone, which turns out to be chaos. You might say, why would I want to be stuck in chaos? Well, something happened that at some point gave your mind the idea that this is okay, this is usual. This happens, I do this. This happens, I do this.
Right.
So then your subconscious automatically goes to, okay, something's wrong. Something's wrong. Things are going right.
Yeah, and we got to sabotage.
So it automatically, subconsciously, you just make decisions, whether it's something that your kid is doing, and it's okay. It's not a big deal, but your mind goes, okay, well, you're being too calm about this, so you need to yell at them, or whatever it may be. And then that triggers them. And then, okay, now you're back in chaos. Okay, now I'm comfortable in your chaos zone. So kind of noticing things like that will pop up in your daily thoughts or in your actions and things like that. And having those to review after the fact, you can kind of see, oh, why did I do that? He wasn't doing anything that bad. I didn't have to yell. I could have just calmly said this or that differently, and it would have made that whole situation better. So being able to kind of see those things versus all of the thoughts just being jumbled in your head. It's hard to recall what you did at 2:00 in the afternoon when your son spilled milk on the carpet.
Which isn't a big deal. Don't cry over spilled milk. But
Right.
You could have just got off an intense conversation with your spouse about who's going to pick up the kid at 5:00,
Right.
And it could just have been the cherry on the cake that just made you snap, right?
Yep.
So there's so many variables. Unless you take inventory and write those things down, it's so hard to actually see your triggers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then once we kind of have that list, you're able to kind of start to notice things in yourself, and you'll start to be more aware as you're actually going through things of, okay, I was about to do this, and you'll catch yourself and be able to kind of stop it, or take a minute to yourself to breathe. Breathing is very important. Take your deep breaths and then react. Don't just automatically react on things that happen. But that also kind of goes to, like I was saying, is there a specific time and throughout the day that happens? Maybe it's your food. Maybe you're getting a little hungry at lunch and you didn't eat yet, and when they spilled stuff, you jumped on them right away. So creating a food journal. Now this one I have to kind of explain a little bit more. So when I'm doing a food journal, it's not writing down, I had a cookie that's 300 calories or whatever. You're not worrying about calories. You're not worrying about, I had 4 cookies today. Why did I do that? You're not doing this to pass judgment on yourself. You're doing this, again, to be aware of what it is, because a lot of us are either eating or not eating, because that happens too, because we're not being mindful of what's going on. We're eating based on reactions, emotions. A lot of people will eat, they'll say, oh, it's morning, I have to eat breakfast. Well, are you hungry? No, but I have to eat this much stuff. Oh, do you really? What is your body telling you to eat? Is it telling you to eat eggs? Is it telling you to eat a bagel? I know that a lot of people say, oh, I have to stay away from carbs in the morning. Well, some people work better with that.
That's true.
I don't. I work better with pure, like, eggs and milk. That's like my breakfast usually. So having things like that, you have to kind of know and feel what works for you in your body. Like, also too, for workouts, I had to eat like a full meal before I would work out. My husband, if he touched any food, he could not work out.
That's me. So I'm doing this. We're doing this 4-week band challenge in our Sparkle group, and yesterday was going to be like, I had to do a workout yesterday. I'm like, oh, my day was just so dang busy. And then my husband came home and he was hungry. So I'm like, okay, well, we'll eat first and then I'll digest and then I'll work out. It just didn't happen because I don't like burping up my dinner, and I don't like any of that feeling when I'm working out. So I'm like, all right, So I guess yesterday is my rest day. We're just
Right.
gonna finish on the week, right? But yeah, just I love how you're sharing just even the foods that we eat and keeping track of how they affect our emotions.
Mhm.
It can make a huge impact. Over the Christmas holidays, I had to apologize to my husband because I was eating a little bit, more flexible and a little off my game. But I had noticed that it was affecting the way I was interacting with my husband. So I was more standoffish. I was like less like emotional or connected. I just wanted to put up these barriers and once I kind of got back on track with my eating and eliminated the sugars, not all of the sugars, because let's be real,
Right.
but it started to give me a clearer perspective because in the moment when I was going through all my stuff, I didn't actually recognize that it was my food choices that was causing me to feel this way. I instantly went towards like the blame game. Right. And I had
Mhm.
nothing to blame for. Like my husband's super patient with me. He's been with me for 19 years. So like he knows how to, okay, well, you're just in a space. I'm just gonna let you have your
Right.
space. I don't want to be a part of that chaos. So he'll remove himself. But I didn't actually recognize it until I started taking inventory of how I was reacting. And
Mhm.
it was nothing that he did or said or didn't do or didn't say. It was all just the way the foods were making me feel, and
Exactly.
it was protruding outwards.
Right. And so that's why I write here, review it at the end of the day and add anything that you may have missed. Because when we're in the moment, either I know a lot of the times that like myself included, I'll have a big bowl of food and I'll be eating and I'll be like, oh, when did I eat that? When did I eat all of that? There's no way I ate all of that. Or I'll have multiple like oranges or cookies, or I always go with cookies as my thing because my son loves cookies. But so there'll be like multiple cookies. I'll be like, oh wait, I should have had 2 more cookies. Where did those go? They were here a second ago, and I'm pretty sure I didn't eat them. And he'll say, no, you did. I'm like, okay.
Okay, yeah. I
I guess so.
mindlessly ate those cookies.
Right.
If I
So
don't remember, then it didn't happen.
right, exactly. So reviewing it at the end of the day can be like, oh, yeah, I did have an, I mean, it can even be healthy food too. I mean, I had a banana while I was cooking dinner, or yeah, I did have some of my son's popcorn while we were watching the movie, or something like that, that you're not thinking about at the time of
Right.
having it, but you're like, oh yeah, I guess I did have that too. So having that, and then, like I said, reviewing the emotions that go with it, because it can be, like you said, yeah, I was a little grumpy today. Let's kind of check and see what I ate. But it can also be like when you do reach for, if you reach for a piece of cake at a party or something like that, do you automatically go, I really shouldn't have that, but it looks really good and I can't help myself? If you have that kind of a thought versus, yeah, I want a piece of cake. I'm going to eat a piece of cake. I heard it somewhere. I'm not really sure where. So if anybody knows, feel free to comment and tell me where I heard it. But they said your thought process around how you eat will determine what you are. You can be a skinny person who eats cookies all the time. Or if you're positive and go, yeah, I'm just eating a cookie, you can be a skinny person that eats cookies and ice cream all the time. But if you're constantly berating yourself for eating that cookie, then you can still be a healthy person, or a person that eats healthy and is overweight. And it doesn't really equate necessarily to the specific foods that you're eating. It's how you're feeling,
Yeah.
and all the other aspects of life. So your movement, your mindset, yourself. you can be eating various foods. Like 2 people can be eating the exact same foods and react to them differently.
That's true.
So you can have one person that eats 3 cookies, same person that eats those 3 cookies will feel completely
we don't even
different.
have to eat the cookies. You just gotta look at them.
Right. So it's completely on a person by person basis.
Yeah.
It's how you feel, how food makes you feel. That's why And that other slide, I said your relationship with food. It's
Mm.
how it makes you feel. Because again, like I was saying with me, I can eat carbs all day. I always used to pretend like, yeah, I'm Italian. Of course I eat, of course I eat bread. What are you talking about? You can't tell me to not eat bread. But when you change your kind of mindset of, oh, I'm not supposed to eat bread. What are you talking about? I'm not supposed to eat that. That's going to make me fat if I eat bread. If you change your mindset to, yeah, I'm eating bread. Okay, what of it? It
Yeah.
doesn't have a big effect on you. And you can kind of see a shift in your other eating patterns too. Because even though you might be forcing yourself to eat salads, it's not going to help if you're forcing yourself to do it. You have to do what your body is feeling it needs at the
Mm.
time. So you can get in tune with your body. And I can kind of tell, I can go, oh, yeah, my body really needs like a salad today versus another day where it's like, no, I think I want some carbs and we'll go with some sugars and just kind of, you just have to feel what that day is, and that's perfectly fine. You just have to know what you need when you need it and make sure that you're listening to your body and you're not listening to those outside cues, either other people telling you shouldn't eat that, or if it's like you said, when your husband came home and he was hungry, so, well, he's hungry, so I guess I have to eat too. And knowing that kind of thing. And especially with kids, when they come home from school, they're usually hungry. So do they come home from school and you guys both have a snack when you're not really hungry? And then when your husband comes home later, now it's dinner time, so you eat again. Is it that kind of a thing, that there are timed triggers or outside influences that are making you want to eat more than you should be? Or are you stressed so you're not eating at all? There's that end of it too. It's not always overeating, it's that you're not eating. So you go, oh, I'm stressed, I don't want to, I'm not hungry, I don't feel like it. When really your body is giving you signals that it's hungry, you're just kind of ignoring them, really. So it's kind of getting us in tune with our bodies, listening to what we need and what we feel at the time, when putting that into the food that we eat and knowing what's right for us at that time. And then also that kind of leads to the movement. Like I was telling you earlier, I used to do these high intensity workouts, and I was a college athlete, so we were up at 5 doing 3 a days, and if you weren't working hard, you weren't working enough, and things like that. But movement doesn't have to be hard. So that's why this exercise is to write down what comes to mind when you hear the words working out and exercise. Do you have positive thoughts about that, or do you automatically go, oh, no, I don't like to work out? No, exercise, no. And that's not for me. I don't like to exercise.
I was allergic for about 8 years.
Exactly. There you go. Yep. Are you allergic to exercise? That's another good one. Yep. But what thoughts come to mind when you do that? Because having those negative thoughts, if I'm allergic to it, then your mind automatically thinks, if someone says, hey, let's go work out, you're like, nope, I don't do that.
I'm supposed
Yeah.
to sit right here and eat
then
my cookies.
It's really easy for your mind to come up with excuses for not going, or excuses to well, I'll just wait, I'll go after I finish this thing.
Oh, I don't want to wash my hair.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a good one too. Well, I have a meeting later, so if I go now, I'll have to take a shower, and then I'll have to dry my hair, and that'll take too long, and by that time I'll be right before the meeting, so I'll just go after the meeting. And then after the meeting, well, that was a long meeting, so I just want to sit here for a minute, scroll through my phone.
Oh, Mary, you're in my head.
I'm just going to take a couple minutes and I'll just scroll through my phone and just look at it. And then 2 hours later, oh, shoot, I need to go pick up the kids. I don't have time to work out now. I need to go pick up the kids. I'll do it after I put them to bed. And then after you put them to bed and you found yourself falling asleep on their bed.
Yes.
For an hour and a half, putting them to sleep. Yeah. And then you get up and you're like, oh, shoot, I needed to do the laundry. I got to go do the laundry now. And then by that time, it's 11 o'clock, midnight, and you're like, I'm too tired to do it. I'll just do it tomorrow.
Who wants to
Go
work
ahead.
out at midnight?
Exactly.
People.
But so if it's that kind of mindset that comes to mind, of course, it's not going to be easy to go and work out. But if it's more of a, hey, what can I do to move my body today? Hey, I can walk the kids to school. It's a half mile away. I can walk the kids to school and back. That's not a big deal. Or I can go rake some leaves in the yard, or even playing with your dog sometimes can count as movement, as long as you're not the one just sitting on the couch throwing the ball. But taking your dog for a walk, going
house cleaning is a workout.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, even putting groceries away can be if you do squats while you put stuff away, you can still use anything that you can find as workouts. One of my college soccer friends, she had a post the other day that said, how come I can do 25 100-yard sprints and be fine, but doing an hour of gardening, I am sore.
Different muscles.
Right. So that just goes to show you that just because someone is doing 2,500-yard sprints doesn't mean that they're doing any more movement than you are if you go out and do some gardening. It's how you feel good moving your body. And I know you always have those dance party exercises. That's a great way too, because put on your favorite music and just get moving. Whatever makes you happy and smile and things like that. Another thing, someone asked me, because being a personal trainer, I get asked, well, which one's better? And someone asked me, well, which was better? Is it better running on a treadmill or running on grass? And I said, which one would you do?
Yeah.
And they're like, what do you mean? Like, which one would you do? Would you go run on a grass, or would you go out to the garage and run on a treadmill? So no, I'd probably run on the grass, get some fresh air. I said, then that one's better, because that's the one that you're gonna do.
Right.
It doesn't really matter as long as you're getting movement in, and you're working out your body. And as moms too, I often tell, especially new moms and newborns, they're little. They make good weights. So you can do little things with your baby, and plus it gives you an extra boost when your weight starts laughing and smiling at you. So even just playing with your baby, lifting them up, you know how much of an arm workout you get bouncing the baby on your leg and lifting him up.
So true. So true.
So there's your movement right there. Just find something that you can do that is enjoyable, that's still moving your body. It doesn't have to be these rigorous hour-and-a-half workouts where you're constantly lifting weights, or you have to break a sweat in the first 5 minutes, or you have to be breathing so hard that you can barely talk and things like that. That's not what it has to be. It can be if that's what you like. Like I said, that's what I used to enjoy doing. But now it's 20 minutes of bar. It's easy to talk myself into it. It's 20 minutes. I can do 20 minutes.
Yeah. And that bar stuff is it might look easy, but it's
right. Right.
Mad respect for dancers.
Right. Definitely. That's what I told my husband too. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so sore. But yeah, so it just has to be something that you move your body to. It doesn't have to be this extreme workout. So finding that, and then getting your mindset around, what do I get to do today to move? Not what do I have to do? What do I get to do? Or like I said, with the newborn moms, I get to play with my baby. That's a great incentive. Let's go play with my baby for 20 minutes, and we'll do some lifts or bouncing baby, even just bouncing baby and back and forth. There's some ab workouts for you.
Yeah.
Like I said, babies make great weights, and they incrementally grow, so they get heavier as they go. So you're already built in with your weights. But yeah, just doing something that you can do for yourself and take that time to do, and having a toolkit that you can use, and having that support that you need to be able to have the confidence to tell someone you need to take some time for yourself. because that's a lot of it too, is that moms don't want to take time for themselves. They feel like it's selfish to do that, when really it's necessary to do it. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to continue giving out everything that you're giving out to your family and all of that. So being able to do that, and that's kind of where I come in with my 2 programs that I have. I've got one for pregnancy specifically. It's called the pregnancy CPR. I do call it that because it's for helping you to master calm, become prepared, and welcome relaxation. So that's where the CPs and the R's come in. Because a lot of moms, especially new moms, it's unknown territory. So it does cause a lot of anxiety about what to do, either during pregnancy, during labor, right after baby is born. Having the kind of toolkit, as I keep saying, the toolkit to work through situations and know, because that newborn phase is a lot of sleepless nights. I'll be honest, it's a lot of sleepless nights, regardless of what your decisions are on feeding and diapering, and who husband's 50-50 or you do it all, whatever your decisions are for that. It's still a lot of sleepless nights. So having the ability to take 10 minutes to yourself, or have some tricks so that you can get some time to shower, even though no one else can help you watch your baby, or to be able to ask for some support from someone, whether it be an in-law or a mother or a family friend, or hiring someone to come for a little bit. Just knowing what the different options are and things that you may not have thought of, being able to just know what's out there that you can do, that you can have that, and just get that little bit of self-care in, makes a big difference to have. And then the other program that I have, I call it the Mommy and Me program. So that's supporting moms through any stage of motherhood, whether you're pregnant, newborns, toddlers, teens, anything, kind of helping them to learn who they are and to find and love themselves, both as mommy and as me. Because again, this whole thing is about mommies are people too. They have their needs, they have their goals that they want to achieve. How can they get there, and what do they need to do to do that, to make some changes, or to get some confidence back that they might have lost with having to figure out what this baby is, why they're crying, what am I doing wrong, is a lot of the thing of what I hear. What am I doing wrong? You're not doing anything wrong. It's a baby. It just takes some time to understand and get used to it, the new normal and the new challenges that you're facing and all of that. So you're not doing anything wrong. No matter what anybody else might say, you're not doing anything wrong. You know what's best for your baby. You get to make the decisions. I'm not here to force you into one way or another, or, oh, you really have to do this way or something like that. No, I'm here more to support you and find a way for you to do what you want to do. So whatever method or practice or path you want to go down, I'm here to support you in that and find ways so that you can get to where you want to be as mommy and as me. So, and then I am offering too, for any of the Beautiful You community members, I am offering 20% off of my programs. My programs are both 12-week programs, because if I just have one session with you and say, oh no, just do this and all your problems will be fixed, that's unlikely to happen. Like we've been saying, it's small steps that make the big changes. You can see, even like making the smallest diversion on the road, you'll end up in a different place, things like that. Having that 12 weeks allows us to hone in on what you need, how we can get you there, and what tools you need to get there, so that by the end of that, you'll have your own toolkit that you can use, and you won't need as much support. If you'd like to continue, that's fine. But being able for you to work through things is kind of my goal. So it's it's kind of my goal to work myself out of a job is being so that you guys have the ability to do it yourself, so that you're confident and able to work through things and have the ability to handle situations that you're not sure you could normally handle, and get through that and become that prepared, confident person, loving yourself, and then also loving yourself as being mom.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, and if you are interested in any of my programs, or if you just want to talk to me some more, answer any questions that you may have, there are several ways that you can get in touch with me. I am on Instagram and Facebook, Moms Being Well. You can call or text. My phone number is 833-MOM-BE-WELL. Try to make it easy on everybody. That's 666-2935. You can email me, send me an email, just mary@momsbeingwell.com. And you can also schedule a free consult. So this is if you have questions about how I run things, questions about the program, questions about me, anything like that, you can schedule a free consult at momsbeingwell.com. So you have the ability to do that there. And again, as I said, any Beautiful You community members, just mention that you're a community member and I will give you a 20% discount as well.
That is such a generous gift, Mary. I appreciate that.
Sure.
This has been such a fabulous talk. I love just diving into the mental health and how all the things kind of like fit together as one big puzzle. Because a lot of us, when you're in the midst of your dark days, your confusion, your exhaustion, all the things, until we can actually take that inventory piece and really examine how these different pieces are fitting into each other and affecting how we respond to different things in our environment, we just won't know how to fix it. Like you'll just think,
Right.
Oh, I'm just stuck here. This is just the way my life's supposed to be. I'm just, no one appreciates what I do and I'm just exhausted. And of course, no one's going to appreciate what I do. I'm always biting their head off because I'm not making other good choices in my life, or I'm not sewing in back into to me and taking care of my mental health so that I can be a better mom, better wife, better friend, better whatever in society. So it's so good that you are nailing down all of those different variables because they interlocked. So it's just a beautiful little puzzle that we have. We all have one.
Right. Yeah.
And just trying to navigate. And I love how even just talking on the food and not food shaming yourself. If you want to have a cookie, have a cookie, but and don't beat yourself up about it.
Exactly.
If if the cookie doesn't make you feel well, then take inventory of that. Like if it doesn't, if it wreaks havoc on your emotions and your patience and your energy levels and all those things, definitely take notice to how the cookie affects you. But if it energizes you, then have at her, have your cookie, and eat your cake.
Exactly.
Right. But not everybody, like I know for my own self, obviously I shared just even over Christmas, the extra sugars that I had was not serving me well. I can have sugar. I know that I can eat certain things that are jacked full of the sweetness of all the chemicals and junk that they put in there. I know it's not good for me. But I can have some in moderation, and that if I overindulge, I see a huge difference. But I would not have noticed that effect if I wasn't a scientist of myself and trying to figure out my best, happiest, healthiest self in this world. So
yeah, and then there's a lot of things too that get put into your head just listening to everybody else, especially around the New Year. It's all you get pushed with is diet this, eat this, don't eat that. You have to do this, you have to do that. And I remember when I was younger, because like I said, I was a college athlete, everything was focused around, you need to be in shape. You're not in shape. You need to get in shape. What are you eating? Why are you eating that? You're not in shape. And so like that always being pushed on me was like, oh no, I'm not in shape. Oh no, what do I do? Which turned into, even though I was stick skinny, it turned into, oh no, I'm not in shape. I must be fat, when
Oh,
really I
yeah.
wasn't. So you
Yeah.
just kind of get into that. And like, I never really thought anything of it until one time I was eating, I think it was like chips and like a green chili dip that I love. And I used to, when I was little, I would eat like the whole container in one sitting, but it
We're
didn't
not
really matter.
counting. We're not
Yeah, because
counting.
who cares? Right. But now I would, like, when I would eat it and I'd catch myself eating maybe more than I should have or something like that, I would go, oh, I guess that's just the little fat kid coming back. And so I'd be like, oh, wait, why did I just think that? Where did that come from? But
Right.
being able to catch those kinds of things,
Yeah.
um, changed. So heck, I can eat that whenever we want. And it doesn't bother
So
me
much
anymore.
of our adult life and the way we navigate things usually does come from something that happened in our childhood days.
Right.
And because I know that my parents were not supportive in any way. And I was always like a skinny, probably like below average for my weight percentile all throughout school, high school. But I always thought I was fat. And it was just the way, and I would wear layers of clothes. I would never wear anything that was like flattering in any way, due to abuse and different things like that that happened. But I had always felt fat and ugly and all the things because that's what was the narrative that was being spoken over me. And I brought that right into my marriage, and so for the last like 19 years, I have been like a walking disaster.
Right.
But just try to navigate and really figure out, like, you know what? I'm just going to decide, and it's a decision, and it's something that we have to do on a regular basis. Is like,
Mhm.
I might not be at my goal weight right now because I definitely am heavier than I should be for my weight, for my height. But I'm like, I'm going to decide that I'm going to love myself where I am at right now. And then how can I love myself? By
Right.
doing these self-care activities, by having those mirror conversations, which are way more powerful than anybody can shake a stick at.
Hmm.
By choosing some different eating habits, by not buying those things and having them in my house makes a huge difference.
Right.
Or even just deciding, like, I need to move, but I'm not going to do it on my own. I have way too many excuses in my bucket, so I need to show up and have that accountability. So I have to, like, I'm huge at, like, come with me, people, because I can't do
Right.
this without you.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
So
we all need some support, whether it's just like you're saying, someone saying, hey, come with me, so make sure that I do this, please.
yes.
Or even just telling someone that you're going to be doing something kind of puts some accountability on you, or having that outside look of, okay, here's my thoughts that have been going on. I see this pattern. How can I stop it? Or how do I work around it? Having that support is so crucial. And a lot of times moms they don't really want support, or they don't see it, that they have it. There's all sorts of
Well, it
things
might
where
make us look weak, and we don't
exactly.
want to look weak,
Yep.
right? We
Right.
want to be super mom,
Exactly.
but we can't
Yep.
do it alone. It takes a village, my friends. It takes a
Yep.
village.
Yeah.
So surround
So
yourself around some really great people, some mentors, some coaches, and
mhm.
and get the support that you need. And you're not alone. We are all in it.
Yep.
So
Guaranteed, whatever story you have, another mom says, oh, yep, did that last week.
yep, been there, done that. Yep, this
Yep.
morning, whatever. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So true. Well, thank you so much, Mary, and thank you so much for sharing the discount to the Beautiful You community members.
Of course.
That is such a generous gift that you're passing down to these guys. Go ahead, everybody, go to our website, get a free consult, at least have a conversation with Mary and learn more about her programs, depending on where you're at in your stage of motherhood. And just surround yourself with other moms that are going to, encourage you and lift you up and be like, hey, we got you. We've been there.
Right.
It makes all the difference when you can surround yourself with like-minded people. It's just going to accelerate your healing, your strengthening, your mindset, your goals, your physical, emotional goals, whatever that may be for this year. Surround yourself around like-minded people and you will see some great success. So thank you again for joining us here in the Beautiful community. I very much appreciate you, and I'm so happy and honored that we had this opportunity to hear from you and hear all about your wisdoms, tips, and tricks, and all the good things.
Yes, thank you for having me.